swearing in.
Yes.
Do you want us to remain standing and raise our right hand?
Yes, raise your right hand. And the oath of office there's variations that can be used, and we try to stay very, very similar from year to year. But I wanted to give you an opportunity tonight, if you'd like to mention your office, first district commissioner, second district commissioner, that's fully within our realm to do that. So, and in doing that, simply we can go around the room. You say "I" and your office, and then after that, we all join in on the oath.
Okay.
You have one that you wanted to start with?
Yeah, Chris, you want to start, please?
Hi.
Commissioner.
Chris Meyer.
I, Chris Meyer, District 1 County Commissioner, Winona County Commissioner.
Hi, Greg Olson, District 4, Winona County Commissioner.
I, Marcia Ward, District 5 County Commissioner.
I, Dwayne Vagley, Commissioner, County Commissioner, District 2.
I, Chelsea Wilbright, County Auditor Treasurer.
Thank you. And this will be together. You'll repeat after me. We do solemnly swear
We do solemnly swear
that we will support the Constitution
That we will support the Constitution
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and we will perform
and we will perform
the duties
the duties
of the Board of Appeal
Of the
of the Board of Appeal
and Equalization
and Equalization
to the best of our knowledge and ability.
to the best of our knowledge and ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you,
We do
Bob.
have the official signature format, so we'll pass that on.
All right,
When it's done, it can go to Heidi. Thank you.
all right. Thank you, Bob. All right, next order of business is electing a meeting chair and secretary.
I'll move to nominate Commissioner Marcia Ward for Chair. Secretary, is that, remind me, is that one of us or is that?
Yep, it's one of you. Miss Heidi does the work for
Work.
that.
Then nominate Greg Olson for Secretary.
I'll second those nominations.
Okay, we have a nomination for Commissioner Ward as chair and Commissioner Olson as secretary. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, a vote would be appropriate to cast a unanimous ballot.
All in favor?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, we are official. Property owner appeals. We did not have anybody contact us. Did anybody, I guess from a staff perspective, did anybody work with anybody individually earlier or anything, or was it a low, quiet year?
Take your pen again.
Yes, you
I
can.
wouldn't say it was
Sorry.
quiet, but on this front.
Yeah, you are the one.
Okay, on this, which surprises me.
Yeah.
Bob?
It was not quiet. We have provided hard copy and electronic copy of values and sales to people, and Corey's asking just constantly. And I'm glad that we have both formats. We can provide the information. We can be very proud of it. When they see that, and when they look at the sale prices, they're just isn't room to come and talk about it. They're continually going up.
Yeah, in our agenda here, it explains, how everything has increased.
Thank you to the assessor's office staff that helped make this happen and addressing people's concerns. Thank you for that. So do we move on then?
Yes, move on to, so there is no, number 4, act on property owner appeals. There are no appeals. Item 5, review assessor 2025 report. And that's included. Does anybody from the assessor department want to highlight anything? Okay, please.
All right. Second brief.
And for the record, state your name and position with.
Lindsay Brandt. I'm just an appraiser in the assessor's office.
Yes, thank you.
First, no tax court appeals this year, so we're happy about that. The sales ratios that it kind of glances over, I just want to touch base. It says, any township within 6 sales or more, that's included in your packets there. The pre-adjusted values are when the sale happened, and then the values to the value we had previously. So the final sales ratio is after the adjustments were made, just for clarification there. Countywide though, just touching on what values did change. The countywide minimum at 5%. Values have been going up. We all are aware of that. Altura was specific at 7% for residentials. Saratoga Township did go up 17. The sales in that area are quite high versus what we had on them. Wilson Township was 10 and the city of Winona was 7 as well. Ag for the county went up 10% across the board. If it's tillable, pasture went up 5 and timber went up 15. Our timber sales in the county have really gone up. People have been buying them for hunting purposes. And they're coming from, Twin Cities and whatnot, and they're willing to pay a lot more. So right now our timber is at 5,400 an acre. Our top tier tillable went from 10,000, I believe. Yeah, 10,000 to 11. So that's at 11. I believe you have a breakout in there as well as for other counties in our area. I think that was in that. Commercial properties, city of Winona was 10%. City of Utica, that did go up 20%. We don't normally have a lot of commercial sales in Utica, but our 5-year trend showed that.
Golden Utica.
Yeah, there was a few, but we did the 5-year trend and it was necessary. You can't just leave it hanging out there after so many years of not enough sales and it's just always being low. And the city of St. Charles, on average, the commercial went up 21.6%, and that was a lot of what was quintiled, and then also the mom and pop shops down the main drag. We were very low on all of those. Let's see.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Absolutely.
I think I know the answer, but no one's watching, but in case this is recorded. So these increases have nothing to do with taxes. This is
Just values.
just market values.
Correct.
Perfect.
Yep.
But I do have a question. So this is always based on sales. How does the influx of new housing affect? Does it have any effect on?
If you have somebody who's a builder and you're building your own house to sell, like a contractor builds a model home. and
Yeah.
Sells it. Yes, that's included in there as well.
A private party that buys a parcel of land and builds a house that isn't considered a sale or
Nope.
anything, so it wouldn't impact.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, eventually it may.
Yeah, it does have to be an arm's length transaction. So, no relative sales, no odd financing, contract for deeds with no minimum payments. Those we don't count because those really would throw off the ratios,
Mhm.
high and low. So we don't count those.
All right, thank you.
Just of note, I wanted to note that the homestead threshold had gone up for taxes payable this year. It went from 413.9 for residential property to 517,200. So those people who had higher valued properties are now getting a little homestead credit as well. New construction for the county as a whole, we had $27,249,377 in new construction in the county. If you guys do want, I can get that broken down per city and township. If you want it for your own areas, that's an option.
Well, I know the townships always love this type of information. So if it's
Absolutely.
not too much of a, you
I
can-
probably have one back there and get you after the meeting.
Okay, because, Bob does a report and goes to the townships and they all.
Absolutely.
Really, and civic organizations and everything. So, so you said what, 27 million?
$27,249,377.
Is that just in residential or?
New construction as a whole.
Oh, new construction. Okay.
Yep,
So everything, commercial, industrial, everything.
everything. Yep. I did want to mention that the area's up for quintile this year. Whitewater Township will be done as a whole. The city of Minnehaska, Saratoga Township, St. Charles Township, city of Lewiston, half of the city of Goodview, excuse me, half of neighborhood 4 in Winona City. So Winona City's broken up into 4 neighborhoods. So half of neighborhood 4, a quarter of neighborhood 2, and a quarter of neighborhood 1 will be done.
Those aren't precincts. It's just 4 neighborhoods.
Correct.
Okay.
And what that terminology, quintile, what's that?
It's when we
Actually do a
visit every 5
physical-
years. Yep,
Physical visit.
yep.
Okay.
And then because we do have a lot of newer appraisers and we kind of switched up the areas a couple years back. Myself, I'm in charge of Richmond, Dresbach, Dakota, La Crescent, St. Charles City, St. Charles Township, Saratoga, countywide commercial and apartments. Stephanie, who's here with me tonight, she's in charge of Goodview City, Stockton City, Hillsdale Township, Lewiston City, Utica Township, Altura City, Norton Township, Minnesota City, and Fremont. Heather, she's in charge of Winona City Neighborhood 3 and 4, Rolling Stone City, Rolling Stone Township, Mount Vernon, City of Minnehaska, Whitewater, Elba Township and Elba City, Warren Township, and she does the countywide mobile parks. And then our two newer appraisers, one is John, he also goes by JR. He is in charge of Winona City Neighborhood 2, Homer Township, New Hartford Township, and Pleasant Hill. Scott, he is in charge of Winona City Neighborhood 1, Wilson Township, Hart Township, and Wiscoy Township. So those are
I'm gonna bug you for that list. I still got the really old one on my wall.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
a question for the employee safety and the public safety.
Sure.
So when, you're trying to go to their house and make a visit and everything. And it is during just business hours.
Yep.
Correct?
We do keep it up until 4:30 the best we can. We do try to, if somebody's like, I don't even get off work till 5, that's kind of the latest we'll push it.
Sure.
And at that point, we usually are in contact with the rest of the team, so we know where we're going.
Well, it may seem trivial, but how do we have a vest or something that says Winona County? Why I bring this up is when Amazon really started delivering out in the rural area, strange cars would pull into the yard with
Oh.
no identification, no knowledge of, who these people were coming into, a dead end township road. And I did tell, and some young ladies, and I said, you really need to be careful because people don't know who's coming, to the door. And then after a while, I did see that they had like a vest on or they put a sticker on their cars. There was at least a minimal amount of identification of who is coming to my front
Sure.
door.
So we all do wear our badges.
Name badges.
Like that.
Uh-huh. I mean, I don't know what we could do
Yeah.
or should do, but I want everybody to be safe. And then I also want the public to know who's knocking on their door.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like the young lady back there.
Yeah.
For the most part, we drive the county cars. out
Okay,
to the
so it's got
properties.
the-
I know, originally, like even when I started appraising, when we struggled to get a county vehicle, sometimes we drive our own cars.
Mhm.
But then it's a little more awkward and then people don't really want to let you in when you're pulling up in your own vehicle, which
Sure.
looks weird.
Yeah.
And I said, even me as a community member, if I had somebody pull up in their own car, even though they had a badge,
It's
I'd be
just,
like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna let you in my house.
well, and
But-
so I think we're all maybe going to be on a little higher
Sure.
alert with the happenings and stuff. So
Mm.
anything you can do to protect yourselves and then also protect the public so they know, give it some thought.
Yeah.
Uh,
Maybe we can put into the paper which areas are being done this
That would,
year.
maybe that would, yeah,
Or-
that would be beneficial, or put a alert, or the news, the radio, the radio saying, the Winona County assessors are gonna be in these neighborhoods.
Yeah,
Is
that'd
it
be,
is it common in your industry to have any kind of like shirts or? I know it depends on what time of the season, if it's a coat or whatever. I'm not thinking like great big FBI or something like that, but that's something that, or is that too far out there or over?
no, I don't think that's a horrible idea. I do know some counties as well do postcard mailings, but
Mm.
mailings are,
Yeah.
they're
They're
very
very
expensive.
expensive. I think if you can use the media, to our best bet, and you said we have a Facebook
Yeah.
page and something.
Mhm.
Okay, all right. Again, the key is to everybody be safe and knowledgeable.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
And,
Thank you.
and everybody who does, if you go to a property and you're just getting the yuck feels,
Mhm. Yeah, just.
you don't need to knock on the door. You can leave the tag on a fence.
Yep.
or, somewhere that it's visible.
Sure.
I've probably had one maybe in the county ever that's like,
Just one,
Yeah.
that's impressive.
Yeah.
well,
Well,
the whole thing.
I'm campaigning,
Oh,
you meet some,
second, I mean,
you meet some aggressive dogs,
Dogs,
you know,
yeah.
dogs.
You
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
There's some notes
Not
on
friendly dogs.
yeah.
certain properties that you don't approach and things like that still.
I don't know about the
If
news.
they
We did have a
pull 'em?
couple when, if the police department was worried about a specific,
Mhm.
they'd try and give us a heads up.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you
That's
for-
all I had for that.
all right.
Thank you for what you do. I know it's not always a popular
Um,
thing to see coming, but it's important. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Tink you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, act on assessor's consent change list, but we don't have any on it.
I do have them individually listed. Sorry about that. Okay. There's 3 consent changes. 2 are for St. Charles City and 1 is for Winona City. The first one, I'll give you a parcel number. It's 29.099.0131. That's at 955 Brownell Street. That one, we did a no change in the City of St. Charles board meeting because of the timing. I met with, or actually Stephanie and Heather had gone and did a walkthrough right before the meeting, so we didn't have enough time to do any changes before the meeting.
What was the issue? They thought it was too high?
The value is too high. So once we reviewed it, and kind of, they walked through it, I reviewed it with the 2 appraisers who walked through it. It's the large house in the new area as you're coming into town, if you're familiar, on the right-hand side. It's a non-conforming residence for that area. So it was at 686,100. And I had lowered it to 609,800. So it was lowered 76,300 because of non-conforming. Do you have any questions specifically to that one?
No, I guess
No.
if it was looked at with multiple eyes.
Yeah. The next one that was in the city of St. Charles, parcel number 29.010.02, or excuse me, 0520. The address is 406 East 14th Street. I did a walkthrough right before the meeting as well. There was quite a bit of the property that was non-functional within the house. And I did lower that value from 153,700 to 98,400. When I say non-functional, like the upstairs bathroom was not usable. There's a lot of mold and roof breakdown, which was coming down to the second floor as well.
Okay.
One of those kind of issues.
Okay.
And the third or any questions on that one?
Was it being inhabited?
There was a gentleman living there, yes.
Okay, so when you mention mold and everything, do we
Nope.
take any actions for public health to be
No,
notified?
he is working with a couple of different, I don't know what you call them, facilities.
Uh-huh.
Not SEMCAC, but there's another one,
Oh,
I
okay,
think out of Wabasha he was mentioning, but he is working with a couple.
Semsha that does.
Yes, that one.
Rehab. Okay,
Yes,
okay.
yes, he's
all
working
right.
with a couple different places.
Okay, good.
The third one is in the city of Winona, it's parcel number 32,455,0110. It's at 451 Huff Street. That's the coffee shop that had the fire. The fire was October 1st of 24. The inspector walked through and it does need to be torn down. So we went with a flat fee. So still has the land value, obviously, but the building value, because there is something sitting on that property, was 10,000. So it went from 224,800 down to 77,200. They are planning on rebuilding it. So once that happens, then we adjust
Okay.
accordingly.
Are they gonna tear it down? It looks like they're working on it right now.
They were, and then the inspector came through.
Because, yeah, there was like Tyvek type of paper
Yeah.
around the outside.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh,
I
So-
used to be on the board of the Lutheran Campus Center.
Yep.
They wanted to completely rebuild it, remodel it, but they discovered all kinds of issues.
oh.
Mm.
So
And
they
the
just-
insurance only covers, well, I won't know, I know the numbers, but to X amount, it's gonna cost this much to rebuild it, so
Build it.
they're kind of stuck right now.
Yep.
But the hope is to rebuild it,
Mm.
like $300,000 difference
Right.
between the insurance
what they'll pay.
estimate and
So the building was in bad shape regardless of the fire.
Yep, in terms of, it wasn't just like 100 years old, it was 150, Bob, maybe you know, maybe it's 150 years old or even older. It doesn't-
McVeigh's?
It had, that, I mean,
Hmm.
it didn't even
I used
have.
to get ice cream there when I was a kid.
Well, there's parts of it that where the foundation is just rock pushed together, et cetera.
Yeah.
So,
Typical.
well, it's even more so than like.
But now that you've had the fire and the water damage, that's
But there's-
gonna cause those to accelerate the depreciation of that foundation.
Sure. Okay. All right. So those were all
they
taken
wanted
care of
just to
by
build it.
internal staff.
Yes.
We don't need to take action, or we just need.
You
to
still
accept
would
it?
need to vote on them as a yes, you can change those.
Okay.
I'll
so
move
the three.
to approve the assessor's consent recommendations.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the assessor's recommendation on the three parcels that were discussed. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. All right, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other business to come before the Board of Equalization?
We do have to hold this meeting until 7.
Oh,
We adjourn before 7 PM.
oh,
or
didn't know
until-
that.
Motion to adjourn at 7:01.
Did you bring treats or something?
Chelsea or Bob, anything else to discuss?
Yeah.
Chelsea or Bob?
Bob, what's happening in your world? We gotta kill.
9 minutes,
You got the floor.
8 minutes now.
No, don't get him 8 minutes, it'll take 20.
Oh, I always like what Bob has to say.
We can give you a mid-year report.
Please.
Oh, did you
Yeah,
get some?
sure.
Okay, all right.
Was going to be at the board in the next couple of weeks, but you can just get an early shot at it.
Nice,
we go.
sneak preview.
Yes. Marina already has, so she's, you know about
She's
that.
ahead of us.
I'm gonna be at the airport at 7:05, so.
Which one? Minneapolis?
Minneapolis, I
Oh.
can drive fast.
You gotta go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think kind of a highlight is that we're a couple of sales ahead of the year ago, as sure as homes are. We think that that's a bit of an accomplishment, not a great big one, but every home to us is just very, very valuable. In fact, that we may have a couple, maybe a couple more move, that every one of them makes a difference, counts.
What's the interest rate? 6, 7?
Hasn't homes gone up? Hasn't the interest rate go back up?
Seems to be some specials out there. and
No,
we need to
all right.
Look real close.
Bob, I got a question. I just, on the last bullet point on the first page. That's exactly the opposite of what everything I read. Steed says that's the opposite. We're losing population because people are moving to the metro,
Is it
Oh,
Winona County or one's the
the
same?
county.
Well, this says, this Winona means county, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It predicts we're gonna lose 5,700 people in population by 2045. That's the state demographic office.
And there's several things in play, and one of them is just the average number of inhabitants in a home. Today it's barely 3. Not long ago was 5. And that, I'm saying not that many years ago. That makes a big difference to start with. Secondly, during the consolidation of farms, one farm home after another did not have an operating sewer system. And when the economics were looked at, there were money ahead to demolish the home and, remove that sewer system. And what has it done? It's left student population issues, especially in the Lewiston School District, and that's where a lot of consolidation is taking place. We certainly like to have a few more students in the Winona district, and it goes that way all through most of southeast Minnesota. No, there's just a whole number of things that are in play.
So I met with Kenneth Jans at Winona State. talking about student population where they're stable, but they expect a decrease because the graduating classes in their area of capture are going down. So there's less people to go to school.
That's a big number.
Well,
Way back in 2010, Winona State was several thousand higher. And that adds to our population.
Right.
I want to say that they are doing very, very well when we look across the country as a whole. Just holding the line is an accomplishment, and I think they've done a little bit better than that, right?
their 10-year outlook is dismal.
The other,
But aren't they
the
thinking
other
of building
piece
a
of
new
this-
dorm?
That's to make it more attractive.
Attractive for them to come.
Kids are going to Mankato
Sure.
instead because they're air conditioned.
Uh,
in all of the activity that goes on during a sale, this isn't one of the questions that's asked, but we can determine some of it indirectly. And that is, we have had more homes in the past year paid with cash than we have had in any preceding year as far as we could determine. Now, this isn't big science, but one of the things is you don't see a mortgage.
mhm.
Well, I kind of given here that probably it's a cash sale. And then, beyond that, we've had a lot of people come in outlets. And they're proud that they came from places like Los Angeles. They bought the home of their dreams here for 1/3 of what they sold their private house for. You know, maybe that's the newest, effort to turn some cash for the family. But many of the people just really, really proud. And one of the people, I asked if he'd come to the Civic Association and just tell us all about it, and he did. He was thrilled to do that. And I liked it because it wasn't secondhand from me, he was there. And they had that night, 94 people at the building. The biggest that they've had.
But you know what?
there's a lot of builders, there's people that in many ways are somehow related to the real estate industry, and they take an interest in, for him to tell us, what he had, with his life, what he'd gone through, and
Yeah.
the fact that he came here and. he
So what
bought-
about, there's a trend more in the metro area because I spend time up there with my kids of these real estate companies coming in, we'll buy your house, cash, cash deal. You don't have to fix it up. You don't have to take the trash out. You don't have to do anything. Are we seeing any of that happening around here?
We're getting postcards and other information in the mail. It's hard to know exactly.
At the,
But they wouldn't be high sales. They'd be low sales and all ours are way over.
At the Winona City Council meeting last night, they passed the ADU ordinance, which is gonna affect this side of Highway 61, so the most dense area of the city of Winona will now have the ability to have mother-in-law apartments but they could all be rental. So basically, they cut every house into a duplex. You could essentially, every house.
Oh, really?
That's big. That's big for the city. Cause
They had it restricted.
they had it so restricted by so much percent per block.
They
et
still,
cetera,
the
so-
30% still intact, but you
Oh.
could take a small house and cut it into two houses.
Are they
So-
just getting pressure to,
It's,
do that? I
I
mean,
don't
people
know.
want-
The argument against it was that it's gonna take first-time home buyers, the market away from them because investors will buy them to turn into an investment property. So
Mhm.
In the county housing study and also to some extent in the city, there were requests for smaller homes, especially for family members that were, the family's gone and kind of with the big house and they would like to move to smaller ones. We haven't seen a lot of buildings so far, but we've seen some remodeling. Right down the street, you'll notice that some of the smallest homes, which usually didn't fit that kind of care, are now getting it because they are valuable more so now. And there are people wanting to buy them.
But what's our foreclosure rate? I mean,
None.
Wow, foreclosure, you'd have to talk to the sheriff,
oh, okay.
cause they do those sales and then they still have to come through, but, yeah, I looked right before we came here, cause I was looking on a different case, There's only 2 sheriff sales recorded
Yeah.
this year.
Okay.
And it used to be significantly higher than that.
Mhm.
Um,
Sure. Well, you go to Minneapolis, St. Paul, or any of the suburbs, there's a lot of them.
right.
You know, it's just a different. Okay.
Well, are we?
No, Chelsea's the official timekeeper.
I've been asked one
It's 7
question a
PM.
number of times.
Oh.
Yep.
Sure.
I tell them it's a city issue, but Main Square 2, that greenhouse. Do you know, like, there's,
Greenhouse.
Where are you pointing over there?
I should be pointing over here. I'm sorry.
Well, the one single house that's sitting,
House, do we know what's going on there?
They don't want to sell.
it's being surrounded by all the,
The design is built around that house.
They really have designed to build a
Yeah.
structure.
They have some advertising out and that house is in the picture.
The person wants to stay there with them, with a,
They're gonna build, yeah, just,
Wow.
There's a third block that there's acquisition taking place in. And that block has some homes that have value. And we're hoping that. maybe
Beautiful
a couple
homes,
of
right.
those homes may move.
so when is this new, I took a walk around the neighborhood here. When is that new apartment,
behind the movie.
behind the movie theater? When is that estimated to be done?
And
It was done more than I thought. I didn't
Yeah,
realize how
I think
much
that-
building had been done.
fall, isn't it?
Yeah,
Fall or spring.
yeah.
we didn't get right down there, so
So the owners of that greenhouse aren't gonna sell.
Apparently not.
that's
Okay.
only
It's
coming.
crazy.
Looking at what Main Square, are we still being taped? Looking at what Main Square is paying people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's hard to say, believe that they didn't sell.
All right,
but
good for
Yeah,
them.
they
Good for
have
them.
principles. Yeah,
It's the second one that I've seen.
Same thing with that,
That's what
so
they pay for it.
for Main Square paying more for all those buildings, those don't get, those are thrown out for assemblage, those don't get counted in the ratio either.
oh, okay. They don't get counted.
Mhm.
I did a presentation for one of the churches and there've been several of them. They're trying to have community information programs as part of the, as addition to some of the activities of the church. And there was a longtime senior that came to the program. They expected about 24 to 25 people. They had 47. And this party, she was first to speak and she said, am I gonna lose my home? And she was about in tears. And I said,
Mm.
did somebody say that you're going to lose? She said, I saw those prices that are being paid downtown. She said,
Mm-hmm.
it took me a minute, but then I knew what she was talking about. And after we talked for a little bit, and a couple of the people there also offered some information. Which was, they, all of you have been doing, she said she had to go there. And I invited her to come in and visit with us and visit with the assessor. She said she was very happy to get the information that we had the hand on. And I also want to mention tonight, John Nino had, I think, spoken. I'm not sure how he's doing,
Ooh,
but when we did the handouts, he paid for paper.
Right.
No
Mm.
taxpayer money.
yeah.
And we did that, and I talked with Marie about it.
Mm.
Oh,
And
so
this
just
is-
recently, just very recently, stroke?
I think
Okay.
today,
Oh,
and
okay.
I had a chance to find out, but he's gonna build that up back to all of us for getting information.
Yeah, yeah. City of Lewis.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Okay.
So we'll have
now-
the same presentation again later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll have a couple other points, but I think we got the heart of it.
Okay, so.
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah, we fulfilled.
I'll
the-
second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Olson, second by Commissioner Vagley to adjourn. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.